Hello my friend, my name is Amira Aulia. You can call me Amira. I am a student at Rumah Belajar Bersama, a place to study English, Arabic, and Mathematics. Learn reading and writing for kids, recite Quran extra. I live in Bulukumba Regency, South Sulawesi Province, Indonesia. Now I am 15 grade at SMA Negeri 1 Bulukumba. That's all about me. Let's miss. Lesson 41. The Balkan Express. The third person I saw a son as a return.
As soon
as I returned from my holidays was my grandfather. He opened the door for me and stood there, looking me up and down in amazement. "Whatever the matter with you?" he asked. I went straight into the living room and sang exhausted into an armchair. I was hard put to explain my appearance. I was pale, unshaved, dirty, and tired out after my journey. "I've been traveling on the Balkan Express," I mumbled weakly, "and I haven't eaten a thing for over 18 hours. As I didn't get a seat, and I spent most of my time in the corridor where I was nearly tempted to death." "The Balkan Express," my grandfather exclaimed. When I was a young man, that was a wonderful train. There was a permanent dining car, and you could get some of the best food and wines on Europe. I can even remember a time when a gypsy orchestra was employed to play to the passenger during meal times. He looked me up and down again, then added with a sigh, "You couldn't beat the old Balkan Express for comfort." "Times have changed, grandfather," I said sadly. "Judging from your appearance, my boy," he answered, "they changed for the worse. Now you go and have a nice hot bath, and I get you something warm to drink." Lesson 42. Boys will be boys. On Saturday morning, the postman delivered a large parcel for Tommy. The parcel contained a birthday present, and it had arrived just in time. Tommy looked at the stamp on the packet. "It's from Uncle Bill," he said excitedly. Even though Uncle Bill was in America, he had not forgotten Tommy's birthday. Mother made Tommy promise not to open the parcel until the following day. "Your birthday's not till tomorrow," she said. "You should open in the morning together with your other present." The next day, Father was just excited as Tommy when they discovered that the parcel contained an electric train set. "Let's go upstairs and put it together," Father said. Tommy remained with his father for about an hour, but finally got bored with the train set and went into the living room to see the rest of his parents. At about lunchtime, Tommy's mother came into the living room. Where your father?" she asked. "I've been looking for him everywhere." "He's upstairs, Mom," Tommy answered. "He put my train set together this morning, and he's been playing with it ever since." Lesson 43. Where were the money? While walking through the park, we stopped by the pond to watch some children who were selling model boats. There were so many boats in the pond that morning that quite a few people had gathered on the banks to see them. Suddenly, someone shouted, shouted, "There's a man in the pond." We looked up, and sure enough, a man's head could just be seen on the other side of the pond. The man appeared to be
Appear
the man appeared to be swimming
vigorously.
vigorously and was coming straight toward us. "He must be crazy," a young man said. "I wouldn't dive into that pond for a fortune. And anyway, it must be freezing cold." The,
Brackish.
the brackish water of the pond was certainly not
Impeding.
inviting. As it,
Impeding.
inviting. As it was still early March, the weather must certainly have been very cold. After a short time, the man approached
Approach the bank.
the bank. The water was very shallow, so he walked the last 5 years. We were as we
Astonished.
we were astonished to see that he was fully dressed.
Fully dressed.
Fully dressed. "Nice swim," the young man asked. "Nice swim, my foot," the man remarked irritably.
Irritably.
"It's freezing. I did it for a bet." Lesson 44. Future Prospect. From Ernest's point of view, the interview was going very well indeed. 6 days before, he had applied for a job with a small business company, and now he was being interviewed by one of the directors. The advertisement had invited application for ambitious young men who would be willing to travel abroad at short notice if necessary and who would not mind working irregular hours. Ernest had taken great pains not to say anything silly, and the director seemed to be most impressed. "You say you're not married. You're married, Mr. Reef. Mr. Reef.
Huh?
Mr. Siapa ini?
Reeves. Yeah.
You say you're not married, Mr. Reeves," the director said. "No, sir," Ernest answered. "I'm getting married next June, but I'm sure my future wife won't have any objection to my keeping irregular hours. I see from your application form you have worked as a salesman for 2 years. Why do you wish to change your job now? I found the work too dull." "Sir," Ernest answered, "that's a refreshing change," the director said. "Most young men today seem to want dull jobs. The first question young men ask me is whether the job I'm offering carries a passion. They want to retire before they start. Does the job carry a passion, sir?" Ernest asked
Acts anxiously.
asked anxiously.